Lust is not just a physical issue. Take it from me. I used to touch myself 3, 4, 5, even 6 times in a day. Even in a church basement. I'm not proud of that. But I thought I didn't have enough self-control. I used to beat myself up. Oh, man, you got to lock in. I used to delete all the apps, put my phone in a different room. I tried to put passwords, child protection locks. None of it worked because it was about me at the end of the day. I was so consumed by my own pleasure, and that's what we call pride. Lust, sexual lust, isn't just on its own. It's that you're willing to compromise your relationship with yourself and God to be able to get your own pleasure. And I realized at the root of this, where most of us, we're going wrong in this lust battle, is we're not processing our emotions. I remember coming home from school and not feeling accepted and feeling bullied and lonely, and I wanted some sense of approval, or feeling stressed from life, and I wanted to release it. So instead of sitting down processing my emotions, I would find myself scrolling pages looking for the most perfect video so that I could feel something and then use that to release myself. And so that becomes the routine and getting dopamine. But realize this, there's also something on the other side you do instead. Sitting with your emotions, learning how to process it, being still instead of drowning it out with your phone and doom scrolling and playing video games and watching podcasts, even if they are Christian podcasts. That's all junk and clutter in your mind. Sit with God. Take 10 minutes to sit with him. Use real dopamine. Go to the gym. Go for the walk. Let sun hit your face. And start reforming your mind. Readapt it. And so that you can start winning, because lust is not just sexual. Once you overcome lust sexually, it'll take different forms. Like lusting after money, cars, status. For me, it was food. I started wanting to gorge and emotionally eat. And so if you don't solve this at the root, you're going to spend years finding yourself in different forms and pockets of lust, always enchained in bondage. So change.
If you're a lustful man or a woman dealing with a lustful man, I want to talk to you. As a former man who was led by his lust, I want to help you, because that man isn't far gone. You aren't far gone. There's help there for you, but you have to want it. The desire for the help from God has to be more stronger than the desire you want to please yourself, because it all comes down to pleasure. How are you being pleased? And being that man that was super lustful, it was never enough. The woman I was with may have never been enough. I always wanted more, always needed more. And by the grace of God, he has allowed me to be engaged now, right? And to be freely free from the spirit of lust. But the only way you get free is knowing how to say no and knowing how to take it to prayer. Because prayer changes things. Prayer will change you. So if you're that man that's dealing with that lustful spirit, pray that spirit out of you. Seek accountability. Tell some people, hey, I'm dealing with this, right? If you're a woman dealing with a lustful man, pray for him. Remove yourself. I wouldn't say abandon him, but remove yourself. Set certain boundaries. And maybe in the future that man will come around, because those prayers started to work. Lust ain't as strong as you think. You strengthen it by how you allow it to dwell. God's strength can defeat anything. You got to trust that it will.
A lustful man who can't control his sexual urges will always be considered an undisciplined man. Think about it from the aspect of someone who can't control their eating habits. They can't fight the urge to stop. They continually eat more and more and more, and they know they shouldn't, so they become obese. This is the same when it comes to a man who can't control his sexual urges. He's considered undisciplined. He will have gaps in his life, whether that be gaps in his finances, gaps in his health, or gaps in his mental capabilities. He might be good in this area, but he's definitely going to lack in other areas. Again, if a man can't control his sexual urges, he is considered undisciplined.
Being addicted to lust is the most depressive cycle a man can be in, because you're draining the life energy you need to become the greatest version that you know you are capable of being, by the way. You know exactly what it takes to be great. You just don't have the energy for it, because you spend all your time draining it. You let weeks go by, months go by, years go by, telling yourself all the time, I'm going to change tomorrow. How long do you think it will take before you look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, there's no hope for me anymore. I've tried many times over. I'm finished. You develop what's called learned helplessness. Believe it or not, I was in the same situation 4 years ago, neck deep in lust. Only God knows how bad it was. But it wasn't until I learned these two things that I want to share with you guys that it really helped me. Even till this day, it helps me stay grounded. First thing, remove the shame from having desires. No one really teaches you this, but the fact that you feel disgusting, the fact that you think of yourself as a low-life human being for doing these things is the reason why you stay stuck. Why? Because shame changes the scope. You're no longer someone that has a problem. You are the problem. Big difference. Because when you say, I am the problem, that's now an identity. Think about it. If you're someone that watches X-rated content or you sleep with women all the time and you say, you know what, I am a disgusting human being versus I'm just someone that has a bad habit, big difference. And that keeps you stuck. Because here's the thing, when you relapse and, you said you were going to change, you just remind yourself this is who you are. And when you convince yourself this is who you are and it's an identity issue, almost impossible to change. So you just need to shift your mind a bit and always remind yourself, I'm just someone with desires and I'm misdirecting it. And number two, to supplement this is, instead of trying to break the habit, replace the habit. Very simple, but it really works. Instead of trying to get rid of your X-rated addiction or sleeping with women, because the brain doesn't like emptiness. When you get rid of a habit, your brain's thinking, yo, what are we replacing this with? So instead of trying to break it, why don't you find something to replace it with? I'll give you a bit of an idea. If you're someone that succumbs to lust in your bedroom, maybe in the nighttime, maybe in the morning, sleep without your phone and pick up reading as a habit. Every night before you go sleep, just read a book, 10 minutes, then go sleep. When you wake up in the morning, your phone isn't accessible to you, so you have to get out of bed, go brush your teeth, go shower, go make breakfast. Start from there. When you slowly replace things that you would have normally in the past just wasted time and probably succumbed to lust, now you don't use your phone, you're reading a book, that really helps. But if you look at this holistically, you really need to find your purpose as a man, because when your purpose is so big, lust becomes an afterthought. So try new things, try new hobbies, exercise, really build your career, occupy your time, try to be as busy as possible. And if you combine it with the first, which is removing the shame, I promise you, you overcome this in no time.
I got a friend, we probably been friends for over 20 years now, and I've been telling him for like the last 2 or 3 months, all he talk about is women, women, women. And I'm telling him like, bro, you ain't even got your life in order. You still struggling and trying to find a job. He just get a job. So I guess because he got a little money coming in, he got kind of beside himself, and all he want to do is chase women even more. His lust has really reached the point of debauchery. And I just checked on him this morning, and he telling me he got robbed for his vehicle. So after he go into the depths of what happened, I'm looking at him like, bro, you got robbed for your vehicle for the same thing I have been warning you about. You too lustful. You done bumped into this little girl. She 18, 19. You chasing some cheap cootie cat. Think you manipulating this young woman. First of all, you meet at a Motel 6. I'm telling him, like, what do you think this young woman doing at a Motel 6? It's drug infested and is only full of sex workers. So, after riding the little girl around, he letting her be, he's been the little girl personal Uber. He letting her do DoorDash. She ended up saying, drop me off right here. I got to check on my cousin. When he pull up, she go to some little unknown location. A dude come out of nowhere with a gun. Open the door. Open the door. Open the door before I pop you. He opened the door, dude steal his car. So I said, man, the girl set you up. 9 times out of 10, she a young drug addict selling herself. I said, think about it. She gets you to go to a location you have never been before. She disappear in the vicinity of that location. Then this dude just popped up and robbed you for a mundane, ordinary car. It's not a sports car. It's not a Mercedes Benz. It's not a luxury vehicle. And the way the guy pulled up on you, he didn't fully pull the gun out. He just let you see that he had a gun. So obviously she had to tell the man he ain't armed. He ain't got no gun in there. And you got robbed for your vehicle. Your lust has defeated you. Don't put that on that girl. You put yourself in that situation being lustful. And I'm telling him that your lust has defeated you. And you chasing these little young girls, man. You should have known. But all you was thinking about is how to catch an easy nut. And you done lost your vehicle. Now you trying to script and scrabble on how you going to get back and forth to work. That's why I always tell you young guys, it does not make you manly to sleep around or try to have all these young women. Your lust will consume you. It will corrode your spirit. And the deeper you go, that's why the Bible speaks so much against sexual immorality. The deeper you go down that rabbit hole, the more and more it'll take to fulfill that sexual urge. You'll start having what they say, an insatiable appetite for all these sexual desires, but you'll never be satisfied. It's kind of like gluttony. You eat, after an hour you hunger again, even if it's just a snack, what you would think is an appetizer. It will consume you. Your lust will defeat you. The Bible tells you your sins will figure you out. Now I'm looking at this guy. Yeah, you done lost your vehicle. Trying to fornicate. Trying to indulge and fulfill your sexual immorality. Listen, man, I'm telling you young guys this. It's a lot of men that have destroyed themselves. Being swept away by their lust. Those ungodly desires we allow to take birth by indulging in it. Look at the coach at Michigan. Man, you just think about this. You got to sit around your wife and churn, and they got to look at you knowing that you just threw away $6 million a year committing adultery. See, most sins emanate from lust. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh. Coveting after other people's things. Or coveting after things we know that don't align with God's will. I have been warning him. You young guys, and see, that's why I say you young guys got to take heed to the admonition that older men give you. It'll save you. I encourage all young guys to read, study, and break signs on the book of Proverbs. It tells you all the pitfalls of lust. It tells you all the pitfalls and how detrimental it can be chasing after these ungodly women. You looking for easy sex. Your lust will defeat you. Your sins will figure you out.
Look, I'm not going to name drop, but us men being lustful is always going to be our biggest downfall. Us men not being able to use discernment, us men not being able to think with the proper head is always going to put us in a tricky position, especially when we start doing well for ourselves and people start hearing dollar signs. It happens to us every time. I want you to think about your life and when times might have been hard and or you got put in some tricky situations, why were you in that situation some of those times? Were you being lustful? Were you being thirsty? Were you using the proper discernment you needed for some of these situations? You probably weren't, right? We fall into the same trick bag every single time because we can't control lust. So much of the world that we complain about, oh, this happens, this happens, this happens. If we take out lust and stop entertaining some of the things out here, then who gonna fund it? They're kind of right on that one. I'm not here to throw the narrative that men need to be married, men need to settle down, but we need to learn better discernment, and we definitely need to know how to control our lust.
All my men of God trying to overcome lust in 2026. Just listen up. Give me 2 minutes of your day, maybe 1 minute. I could probably finish it quick. There are 3 things that every human needs. It's food, sleep, and sex. If you can't control one, you can't control all 3. It's how God made us. We desire those things innately. If you ever notice, whenever you're falling into some sort of temptation, prior to the temptation, start analyzing yourself and noticing how, man, I stayed up 2-3 o'clock in the morning and my schedule's all over the place and I have no rhythm, I have no routine, I have not put any guardrail on my own life. Therefore, your body becomes accustomed to living as it desires. When it gets what it desires in the area of sleep and the areas of food, it will also get what it desires in the areas of sex. That's why temptation a lot of the times creeps in either when you're extremely hungry or when you're extremely tired. That's why prayer and fasting, I believe, is one of the greatest spiritual disciplines a man could ever implement in his life. If you ignore discipline in the natural, you will lose battles in the spirit. When Jesus was fasting for 40 days, Satan came and tempted him and said, hey, turn these stones into bread since you're hungry. Jesus responded, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. If hunger controls you, desire will too. And whoever's body isn't trained to submit will always look for release somewhere else. In Corinthians, Paul says their destiny is destruction. Who are these people? The ones that their God is their stomach, their glory is in their shame, and their minds are set on earthly things. If you can't say no to food, don't be surprised when you struggle to say no to lust.
When you control your lust, when you don't think with the wrong head, bro, you realize there's so many people that really have nothing to offer to you, bro. This goes both ways, whether you're a guy or a girl. And the cool thing about this is it develops this natural filter. Because people that are superficial, people that are lustful, that are emotionally unintelligent, they won't be able to get past this filter. Because you don't care about getting their admiration. You don't care if they like you or not. You don't care if they want to sleep with you. Because it's like, dude, I don't involve myself with those type of things. So when you learn to control your impulses, the discernment built is incredible. But you have to work on yourself out of good intentions, out of genuine intentions, to be able to develop this discernment. And it can all stem from controlling your impulses. So focus on being the best that you can be so you can develop this discernment. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. God bless.
As a man, everything changes once you kill that lustful nature. You start seeing everything differently. You start realizing that a lot of women, they don't have anything to offer you beyond attention. And attention is just distraction. You realize that not every woman deserves access to your time just because they look good. You can't build nothing meaningful if you're constantly distracted. And once you realize that, that's when you stop just entertaining anyone. You start valuing what she can add to your life beyond just her body. And that realization changes the type of woman that you even entertain.